Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving right into Mauro's fascinating book, Friendship Bracelets and Easter Eggs. We're going to explore exactly how a massive fan base evolved from just being a simple audience into a fully functioning, self-sustaining society. In a modern world that honestly feels increasingly lonely, this group has managed to manufacture profound belonging. So we're going to look past the artist up on the stage, and instead, we're pointing the camera directly at the crowd.
All right, let's tackle the central puzzle of this entire cultural phenomenon. Why does a homemade plastic bracelet, or just the sheer anticipation of a concert, prompt grown adults to literally weep in stadium parking lots before a show even starts? From the outside looking in, it just looks like a massive marketing triumph, right? But from the inside, it doesn't feel like an audience at all. It feels like a country.
To really wrap our heads around this, we kind of have to stop looking at these fans as just passive consumers. They have actively built a legitimate culture. The conventional wisdom is to treat fans as simply receivers of a signal. But Mauro argues that this is entirely backwards. These fans are active producers. They produce meaning, ritual, and community. The music is really just the occasion. The fans are the true authors of everything built on top of it.
Section 1. The Bracelet Economy. Think about the huge contrast between mass-produced merchandise and a homemade friendship bracelet. You could buy a mass-produced trinket and hand it to a stranger, and it would mean almost nothing. But a friendship bracelet? That's a craft. The homemade nature of these means the maker spends their actual, real-world time picking out the beads and threading them by hand. So when you gift a stranger one of these, you're literally giving them a piece of your time. It completely strips away the transactional nature of a concert and creates this safe, incredibly powerful icebreaker.
And this actually hits the nail on the head regarding sociologist Mark Granovetter's concept of the strength of weak ties. Granovetter argued that casual connections, acquaintances or just strangers we share a brief moment with, are absolutely vital for a resilient society. Today, we move through public spaces with our headphones in, eyes down, totally isolated. But by exchanging a nearly worthless plastic bracelet, this fandom manufactures casual public generosity. It's essentially a homemade solution to the collapse of social contact in modern life.
Section 2. A secret language. So when the artist drops the hidden clue, a classic Easter egg, the fandom starts acting remarkably like a distributed intelligence agency. Step 1, scout the anomaly. Step 2, amplify the theory. Step 3, consolidate the meaning. And Step 4, millions react globally, literally within minutes. It converts the fan from a passive listener into an active collaborator. The decoding becomes a group activity, and group activities are exactly how communities are built from the ground up.
This shared language also relies heavily on sacred symbols like the number 13. Now, in much of the Western world, 13 is considered unlucky, right? But here, the community completely inverted that meaning. It functions precisely like a secret handshake or a religious vestment. It's basically a zip file of belonging. When you draw it on your hand and flash it to a stranger, it instantly signals, hey, I see you, you're one of us. It proves that communities are held together by shared meaning, not just shared interests.
Section 3. The Stadium Cathedral.
Picture this: 70,000 strangers, singing and pulsing with light-up bracelets in perfect unison. They aren't just cheering. They are experiencing what French sociologist Émile Durkheim called collective effervescence. Durkheim actually coined this term way back in 1912 to describe the origins of religion. It's this profound, ego-dissolving energy where the boundaries between individuals just soften. We used to find this in civic festivals or village gatherings, but now it has been engineered right into modern stadium production. And that overwhelming feeling is exactly why you see fans weeping.
Section 4. The Fan Machine.
The numbers behind what economists are literally calling Swiftonomics are just staggering. The devotion was so intense that the tour generated $2 billion in ticket sales. But get this, it also created a massive $4.6 billion economic halo effect in the US alone. Fans didn't just buy tickets. They traveled, they booked hotels, they put together these elaborate costumes. It registered in national macroeconomic data. It acted way more like a temporary boomtown or a traveling festival than just a simple music tour.
But listen, their power isn't purely financial. It is highly coordinated. The fandom mobilized with absolute military discipline for the Taylor's version re-recordings. When the artist lost control of her original master recordings, she re-recorded them. And the fans? They systematically replaced old tracks in their playlists and treated streaming the new versions as a daily moral choice. They took a dry contract dispute and turned it into a victorious, real-world moral crusade for artists' rights. They realized that their collective action has massive, real-world power.
Section 5. Finding Belonging.
Now, we have to address a word people love to throw around: parasocial. Critics lazily use this word as an insult to just completely dismiss the fans' connection. But sociologists note that this one-way bond is actually totally normal. Our brains evolved to feel connected to the faces and voices we hear regularly. It's just basic human social wiring operating in a world of screens. And for the vast majority of these fans, this parasocial bond is actually a gateway to real two-way friendships with other fans. It doesn't replace human contact, it generates it. We also really need to call out the cultural double standard noted in the source material. Historically, male sports fandom, painting faces, screaming in the stands, memorizing endless stats, that's celebrated as perfectly normal devotion. Meanwhile, the exact same level of passion from teenage girls is reflexively mocked as hysteria, or just some silly phase. By becoming an undeniable billion-dollar economic force, this massive movement is finally forcing society to dismantle that prejudice and take their emotional lives seriously. Sociologist Ray Oldenburg's concept of the third place really reveals the deepest truth of this explainer. The first place is your home, the second is work, and the third place is the cafe, the pub, or the community center. As these traditional physical community spaces have vanished over the decades, we've been left facing an absolute epidemic of loneliness. But these fans didn't just give up. They used pop music, the internet, and plastic beads to construct a massive, elective third place to cure their own loneliness. So, to wrap up, I want to leave you with this really provocative thought about the state of our modern world. If millions of people had to literally construct their own society, complete with their own economies and languages, just to find a place to belong, what does that reveal about the institutions that failed them? The fandom works because it provides exactly what our atomized society stopped providing. They found each other. And honestly, that is a testament to human ingenuity that is impossible to ignore. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.